What it takes to set up a fresh earth food store. I think, to be honest, these days it'll be a lot easier than when we started. When I started selling plant-based, natural and organic, and I was in this industry, I've been in the industry for 25 years. It was so new to the South African market. And there was just so much that we just didn't know that we had to pioneer and get supply chains set up and an understanding of where the money lies to be able to run a business. But and fundamentally to create a market. My theory was everybody wants to be healthy. If you ask anybody, you say, "Do you want to be healthy?" Well, the best way to be healthy is to be super conscious about what you put in your body. So on the back of that, I took the risk and started the business. And I was lucky. The market was there. We just had to create a platform for a place for them to come and buy something. And initially it was a little bit jerky and quite difficult, but then it flowed nicely and now it's become quite mainstream. So opening up a business like this is really similar to normal business practices. You've got to understand retailing. You need to understand hospitality and customer service. You fundamentally need to understand food costs and how to procure correctly. And you have to have a mix of products that people want, which is possibly where our challenge as a business lies right now, because the market has opened up so much. We were the first to market with quinoa 20 years ago. Now you can get quinoa in Checkers. So what next? What do we have to have on our shelves next? So we're having to keep our fingers on the pulse and stay agile to create products that people still want. But it's good business practice, same rules in almost all the businesses that apply. This economy is pretty challenging right now. So you need to have good cash flow. You need to set your business up so it's not 100% dependent on electricity. There's water interruptions. You need to be pretty resilient. Your staff need to be super well trained and ready to deal with adverse circumstances in this country right now and keep their eye on the ball. And I think that's what's got us through here. But there's still a lot of opportunity in this market, in the space. I just got back from Amsterdam last week. I was at a conference, Natural and Organic and the Free From conference in Amsterdam, and I looked at what the growth is happening in Europe, and there's still in a semi-recession right now where inflation is super high. We are still seeing 8 to 9% growth in this sector in Europe. South Africa typically trails that slightly, and so there's still growth in our sector. And I think you've got to get the fundamentals right. You've got to get the product right. You've got to get your service right. And you've got to get your pricing correct. And on the back of that, you possibly have a business. Yeah, that's a really good question, because ultimately that's why we started this business, is that we wanted to close the gap between the producer and the consumer. Because the current retail model is quite challenging for any startups because there's so many layers, and sometimes the school fees can be quite expensive, and it can look amazing to get a listing in a big major retailer, but you can actually go out of business if it's not done correctly. And you don't understand how the big retailers work. We've got, I think, about 100 products in the big retailers right now through our manufacturing business, which started incidentally through this business. So we wear both hats, and we try and close the gap big time between the producer and our consumers. We're not a massive operation, but just to be honest, like since COVID till now, things have changed so much. So my mind is racing on we've had to do things differently with producers. So we've got pre-COVID, we had a 30-day from statement policy, and we've changed that. So we now are more or less on a COD policy. If we put your products into our stores, we need to know that it's going to sell within 5 to 7 days. and in return we'll pay you cash for it. But if you haven't done your work as a manufacturer or producer and have not invested properly in the market, in your own marketing, in your packaging, and it's not going to flip in 5 to 7 days, we can't afford to put it on our shelves because it's going to sit there and consume our cash flow. And these are all the new things that have come up. So pre-COVID, there was a lot more cash. The market has shrunk slightly, although it is growing in certain segments. There's not enough space spent, so the guys are a lot more picky about what they're picking up. So best way is to reach out to me is matthew@freshearth.co.za. Send me your product list, begin a conversation, get hold of me on LinkedIn, Matthew Ballenden, or get us on our Instagram at Fresh Earth Food Store, and send us details. We're engaging every single day with young entrepreneurs with amazing products. We can either share advice, or we can get it into the shop, or we can have a conversation. There's lots of opportunity. Yeah, vision. It's almost like a swear word in this economy. I've spent the last year consolidating the business in preparation for a recession. Until I want to de-risk the business for the sake of my staff and the team that we have working here. As the ultimate leader in the organization, I'm limiting the amount of risk that my team in the business is exposed to because of the uncertainties in the political uncertainties and the supply of electricity. One of the other reasons why our company was overseas, why I went overseas, was to look for overseas markets, to be able to export our product into first world countries, to get the cash into this economy here. It's such a difficult question that fundamentally I think that South Africa is poised under the right leadership to be a superpower in Africa, no question. And I have a love for this country that's profound, and I've started businesses all over the place in this country as a result. But I've never felt more nervous than what I feel right now. And our leaders have been super successful in making us feel, as business owners, very insecure about the future. And it's a terrible place to be in. But having said that, what our strategy was, future-wise, was big time into manufacturing. We are growing our manufacturing business. The third reason why I was in Amsterdam is I went into some of the best bakeries in the world. I formed alliances with some of the Dutch bakeries and the intellectual property over there. And we're bringing that intellectual property into our country, better ways of baking breads, our kind of breads that we bake, which is niche, nutrient-dense breads. And we're investing in the early part of next year in some new technology to get a better quality product. So manufacturing is where we are. We're consolidating our retail side of our business, and we're growing our online side of the business. So less exposure in the brick and mortar world and more exposure and access to our market through online, a better route to market with our products. Fewer middlemen taking margins that they shouldn't be taking margins out of our products. That's where our attention is going. A lot of attention on who our clients are and understanding who our clients are. They are who we bake our breads for, we bake cookies for, and we make vegetarian burgers for. So understanding who our market, who they are, and how do we access them quicker, easier, seamlessly, without them having to get into their car. So that's a sort of a high level strategy. So it's manufacturing, our online business, and our service, and a big focus on the quality of our product. So that's why the technology, bringing in better technology, is to get a better product to our consumer. For for yeah. I would say that's where 2023 is. 2024 we'll deal with them. So I must be honest. So less broader sort of 5-year plans and more agile. Well, January, February, March with a 2023 umbrella over that, and then I'm visiting trade shows and looking what's happening in countries outside of our borders, in more first world countries. I'm bringing that information back into South Africa. A lot of young entrepreneurs are driven by passion and the love for what they did, and I was one of them. I've been doing this now for nearly 30 years, and I can understand that where the passion comes from. However, the passion is not what's going to get you to succeed. The passion is almost tertiary, the tertiary effect of making sure that you've built your business on good, solid business principles. Whether it's an organic product or not an organic product, whether you're passionate or not passionate, whether you think it's the most nutritious cereal bar you ever made, it's not going to succeed unless you've built it on solid business principles. And you understand your market, you've created a product that people want, you're filling a gap in the market, and it's well priced, and that you're going to make money out of it. It's packaged correctly, it's manufactured in a food safe environment, you've built up a ability to distribute it nationally to a larger audience other than a handful of health shops. Those are all just good, solid business principles, and this takes work. It takes work, and it's not going to happen overnight. People kind of look at what we've built, and they quickly, it looks like it happened overnight, but it's not. It's actually 20 to 25 years of school fees and learning what worked and what didn't work. And I think a lot of that can be bypassed if you align with somebody that can mentor you. So get a mentor, a good business coach. If you can't afford a business coach, find somebody that's willing to have a cup of coffee with you once a month, where you can bounce off your ideas and they can hold you on the straight and narrow and keep you true to good business principles. So lots of opportunity. We need entrepreneurs. I always say that people think that our government's running this country. They're not running the country. We're running the country. And the entrepreneurs are running the country. And I know that for a fact. I'm in the community of entrepreneurs. Every day, we are the guys that get up and hack our way to work through red or broken traffic lights, employ 20 to 30 people every single day on the products, on our products and our ideas. We pay people in very adverse circumstances where government should be giving us an easy platform to do it. They actually make it more difficult. And it's the entrepreneurs that we need. And South Africa is rich in entrepreneurs, amazing minds. And it's almost because of the circumstances that we are entrepreneurs. We have to hustle to make it work. And the more entrepreneurs we can get into our economy that on good business principles, the stronger we can make our country. And we can actually show the government it's actually us that runs this country, not them. So yeah.